So, Alaa, can you just describe, what your relation was to this filmmaking team and how you got involved with the film?
Well, so I was called by the production, Miriam Nogard, the head producer on this project, because there was a need to start the collaboration process. There was always this issue with um, before filming this material from different perspectives, from different people, also professional photographers at a later stage. And what we needed to do is to create this narrative where it all fits together, where all the different characters who filmed, all the people that are professional filmmakers that were included in the production would actually come out well in the post-production. And so my job was to establish the team and go along with the process in writing the film and then editing to have the final product.
Yeah. And Spencer, how do you get drawn into this group, and what was your contribution?
So I was a journalist in Beirut from like 2008 on, and then in 2013 when Obaida, the main character, left Syria and came to Lebanon through friends. She ended up staying at my place in the mountains north of Beirut for a few months, and so there she started showing me footage that she'd taken in Syria, and that's when I started helping her like craft it from like kind of an outside view, which a lot of people do need when they're trying to put something together. So that's how I got involved.
Now, of the group of people we see in this film, did you have connection to them before you got involved with making this film?
Yes, I basically knew all of them except for Hisham. Um, um, Rabia was, I had, seen a couple of times, but Hussam is a good friend. Amal and Obaida are good friends of mine. And this is how I got involved in the project to begin with. I was around when the filming was happening early on. I was in Damascus until end of 2012, early 2013. And so that was when the protest movement was very strong. But then I had to leave, like many others. And yeah, this is where we ended up. I was called afterwards to help put the material together, maybe in 2014, end of 2014. So there was a long stretch of me not being involved in it.
Um, and can you describe what the collaborative effort of the group of people who are behind this film?
So it's all a collaboration. It started out with, as you could see, especially in the early chapters, everyone can hold the camera. Everyone is pointing the camera. Everybody is on the camera too. So it was pretty unknown, really, where this was heading. Um, and so, in that sense, it was collaboration. And then after many people had to leave, or the ones that disappeared were disappeared, there was a need to make sense of everything. And so we needed a different kind of collaboration, which was more working with um, more experienced filmmakers in terms of the craft, knowing how to make a good movie. And that's when Andreas came in, that's when Spencer came in. And that was when we set up a new process, which was mostly based on the structuring from what Obeida had to say. And then Andreas would work through this with me or with Spencer and Obeida, of course. And so we just basically took almost a whole year of just working our way through to come up with a structure that would put all this material together and stay honest to the story.
Spencer, there have been a number of films about Syria and the conflict, and more are coming out. I wonder, as someone who's been reporting on this conflict for a long time, what you saw in this material that you thought was unique.
I think Obi has a way of getting people to open up to the camera. People just talk to it in a way that isn't contrived. It's not. They're not acting. They're just kind of being themselves, and she just brings that out of people. And there's that's that personal attachment that you get to sort of everybody you see in the film, and people kind of reveal things to you like through her. And I haven't really seen that in many other movies the same way. You see a lot of like things exploding and gunfire and like the kind of the bang bang coming out of Syria, but the the guys in the back of the car with the cabbage and like these funny scenes that are part of real life that make it human. What's happening?
Ala, can you bring us up to date on Obeida today, where she's at, and what it's been like for her having this film out in the world finally?
Well, she's safe. She's in Europe now, trying to settle down. I suppose. To be honest, I'm not sure because it has been very hard for her to make this film. It was very hard on her to go deep into the personal relations with the people, and then to secure everyone. Like there's a lot of blurring involved in this, and it's because we couldn't. Sometimes we couldn't even reach anyone. So the whole process of securing everyone was, a big job. And yeah, in a way it made her go back in memory to places that she probably wouldn't have wanted to, and I wouldn't want to, but we need to tell our stories, and I think it was very hard on her to do in that sense, and she definitely is recovering. She's doing much better. She was tired physically, and now she's doing much better, and especially after showing the film, sharing her story with everyone, and getting the feedback. So yeah, she's in Europe, and she always says she wants to go back, and I tend to believe her. She would do it.
I feel like for Westerners trying to process this conflict, one of the things that makes it difficult is that there are multiple stories. There's a story of the Assad regime. There is a story of ISIS in Syria. There's a story of refugees in Europe, and here in the U.S. now, there's a growing story about our relationship to refugees or our non-relationship to refugees. Um, and I wonder, for you now living here, how you spend your time, where your focus and energy is placed.
The problem with war is that it's also a war of narratives. So the regime will say something. Now they're presenting themselves as this anti-imperialistic, pandering to the left of the political spectrum, and I understand that is probably smart of them to do because a lot of people are going for it. The issue with the opposition is quite big. The opposition is fragmented. The war has taken a big toll on the opposition. I don't think that solution is, 1, 2, 3. It's not a very simple solution. It's definitely a long process. It's a political process that starts with regime change, or has to end up with regime change, because to understand the conflict, you have to get the reasons behind it. And the main reason why we are here now is because Assad did not want to change the country and didn't want to step down or figure out a common ground with the people that basically oppose him. So we cannot deal with the effects. We have to deal with the causes. And so, but I'm not a politician, so I don't have the recipe. Well, it's um, well, I think there was a little talk in the film about that, and it's mostly when there is the meeting in Afamia, and they're talking about which version of Islam do these guys connect to. And there was a man who was saying that it's becoming more of a fad where some people would just grow their beards and become like, the big guy on the block, and then people kind of follow them for their lead. And that's to if it's put extremely simply, that's really what happened. Is a lot of the money and the weapons was mostly funneled to these groups, to certain groups that had more extremist agendas, and they could fight supposedly better. I haven't seen it, but I was told so. And that made a lot of young people just follow them because they can pay pay them better. They can give them better guns. They can, more ammunition and all of this. So to just make it a very simple choice for this young person, that's the choice they had to make. Do I go with this, very nice or a person that I agree with ideologically, but die tomorrow, or go the other guy? But with the kids, I think it's also
How much they adapt to it. I think the children learn the language of the revolution, the language of war so quickly. Like they're picking up a language. Take a kid to Mexico, they learn Spanish. Like it's like that. You put a kid in war, they learn more. And like the kids with the one holding the gun, he knows how to clean it. He knows how to change it. He knows how to take it apart in ways that I don't. I That's, I think, the power of the children in the film, how they picked that up. I don't know if it was a conscious choice to use children. I think they were just powerful scenes that captured people.
Well, it was also because they're innocent, which is easy to connect to. They say things very simply. The kids with the guns were the most controversial within the team, because these are the soon to be adults, and we didn't know if they were being danger or if their family will be in danger at the beginning. Then we had to find the families and make sure that all the kids were totally looking different 4 or 5 years later, and which is now. So none of the kids look like they do at this point. What what I find very interesting in that is the relationship that we created with the characters, and the children are one of those sects of the characters. And so basically we know most of them, where they are and what they're doing, and some of them are still in Syria and they're going to school. Two of them actually stopped fighting.
Thank you very much for coming. Thanks especially to Spencer Osberg and Alaa Hassan.